Hi, I'm Richie Hecker, and this is a cryptocurrency masterclass. We're going to have a little segment today on building the right team. Success in just creating your own coin or startup, it comes down to developing the right team. There are three elements, what I like to call TAC: trust, ability, and chemistry. All three of those together means you have a strong team foundation, and you can actually build a currency, a coin, or a startup. Trust, getting to know the people you're working with. Get to know the people over time. See what they're like outside of work. See what their interpersonal dynamics are like with their families. Are they married, single, divorced, going through a divorce? What's their level of maturity? How do they act in their personal life? Are they generally an ethical person? Do your own diligence and background checks. Call their friends. Find mutual friends. Take them to lunch. Understand what makes them tick. And go the extra mile to really understand if you can trust that person. I look at it as, is someone trying to ride your coattails or hold your hand as a partnership? In life, sometimes people try to ride your coattails, and that's fine in certain situations. You have to decide if that works for you. Or if you're the one riding someone's coattails, or if you're looking for a partner. In which case, the mechanics, interpersonal dynamics are different, and what trust means is different. So I feel the first thing you need to do is establish trust. And one way to do it, if it's a new relationship, is to work on a project together, or a personal project. It could be like an activity. Do a relay race. See how people are in an interpersonal dynamic, both inside and outside of the office, or a hackathon, or project. So you can see if you actually can work together, and can you trust that person to deliver, and trust that person to be a good partner and a good corporate citizen, both to you, to your stakeholders, to your investors. Is that someone that is emanating the ethos that you believe in your heart is what you want and how you want to run the organization you're part of? Sometimes people have different perspectives. Trust means different things to different people, and there are different degrees of trust. Understand what you need to make it work for you, both as the founder or as the executive employee or investor. Further on the state of trust is understand the dynamics going on. Are you working with people that are married or divorced? Are they in a relationship? Have they worked together before? Have the other partners involved worked together? Where are the cliques that form? What are the likely political dynamics that are developing? Who's the politician in the group? Who's the mature person in the group? Who's the statesman in the group? Who's the founder? Who's the hard worker? Who's the workhorse? Who's the money? Understand who plays what role in that group, and understand how that group comes together. There's a place for most things in a group as long as it's all positive energy, based on the perspective of building, creating, maintaining, and respecting trust. Like, look at the actions people take. Are those actions ones that you would do to someone else that someone is trying to do to you? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, does your partners and colleagues and executives have the experience to understand what they're doing? Now, in some cases, they may not. They may not know what they're doing, in which case, can you train and develop them and help them grow? In which case, you can still start from a perspective of building trust together and learning and developing. If they don't want to take feedback and they're not acting in the way that you consider trustworthy, then you have to ask a serious question. This makes sense in your team that you're building, also if you're making an investment in someone else's team. Understand what trust means to you in that situation and to everybody else in that situation. The next area of TAC is ability. Do they have the ability for that role to execute on that given task, on that given role? Sometimes you have the right people in the wrong roles. Sometimes someone takes on a much bigger role. Sometimes they start doing one thing, they end up shifting to another and crushing it and doing amazing. In which case you need to set up the right incentive alignment. Incentive alignment should be based on a loose general mechanics of performance at the early stages. Set KPIs that you know can evolve. Set stock option grants, bonuses, and awards that reward performance. Performance does not mean hitting every goal. If you hit every goal in the early stages of a startup, you've set the wrong goals. It means, can that person evolve and grow and help the team grow and get to a better place? And if the goals are changing, are they stopping it in the right time and saying, hey, it's time to evolve what our goals are, because either that person's role or the organization is shifting, evolving, and changing. So you just need to make sure that you're matching ability to rewards, to the reward mechanic, and make sure that it has the flexibility to evolve as the individual, the organization grows. The flip side of that is make sure you have governance in place. If someone outgrows the company, where they're no longer contributing value in their role, can they take on another role? Or do you need to have the right vesting or lockup structure to ensure that the entire integrity of the organization is maintained? Do you have the right board structure in place to make sure that everyone's ability continues to be maximized and their contributions continue to be maximized? All these things are really important around how governance and voting and corporate structure are set up, along with rewards, alignment, KPIs, and making sure you're matching the right person with the right role. Listen, I've seen it a lot of times. You have great talent in the wrong role, or great talent that overgrew or outgrew the role, and either they cannot grow anymore and hit a ceiling, or they themselves hit the ceiling and they did not want to learn and grow from there. And then it just needs to be a peaceful restructuring of roles, responsibilities, and setup. I need to make sure the governance and reward mechanic supports the ability for the team to evolve over time. Very rarely is the same founding team in place 10 years after the start of the company. Usually there might be one team member that is the same 10 years later when the company goes public or exits out of the founding team. People move on. People's roles change as their work requirements change, as the systems mature, as people mature. And by the way, someone didn't work out one day, may come back 3 years later when they matured in a different way and they grew themselves. Sometimes you need to have a little tough love for people to grow. You got to be open to tough love and be able to deliver it in a peaceful, cooperative, very good way where people can learn. And sometimes, you know what? People have to learn lessons in a difficult way. I've learned lessons in very difficult ways in my career that have frankly cost me fortunes. Eventually you learn the lessons, you apply the lessons, you move on and you do better the next time. So you have to understand that interpersonal dynamic, which takes us to the third part of TAC, chemistry. Chemistry is super nuanced. Chemistry means, do the people work together? Do the people have the same definition of trust? Do they have the same definition of alignment around rewards and achievement? And do they work together to create that right framework? Sometimes you might have people you trust. It could be someone you've worked with forever. And it might be a situation where you have the right people for the right ability. But there's new people here and the chemistry just doesn't work. Two people are too high intensity and they're just not creating a framework where they can work. So there might be a third partner in the situation. You and your old partner are there, a new partner join, and they're just not the right chemistry. For some reason, everyone's butting heads. You don't know chemistry until you try it. Again, same thing to team. Work on a project together. Get to know people outside of the office. See how they take on responsibilities. See how people are ultimately responsible. Are they vulnerable, being willing to ask for help when they need it? Are they vulnerable and willing to acknowledge when they're in over their head and they don't know what to do? And you, as the other team members and partners, can help them. And does the chemistry allow people to adapt and evolve? So all three things are similar: team, ability, and chemistry, but they're all different. They all come together to form the cohesive picture of what makes up a really strong team. And with that, thank you and good luck.